So today we are going to see what do you mean by activity, what do you mean, what are the different decision rules that we are going to see theoretically. Then tomorrow we are going to start to implement decision rules. There we are going to use activities to call the decision rule. So that's the reason I'm just taking some theory part. What do you mean by activity? What are the different actions inside that activities? So I have already forwarded you I have already sent you an email regarding different activities methods. So Sandeep, what do you mean by activity here? Sandeep, you can unmute yourself and you can just tell me if you know what you mean by activity.
It is a logical part of Pega. It consists of steps, methods, parameters.
Yes.
They are, yeah, so a lot of
Yeah,
methods.
good.
There were nearly 100 to 110 methods are there.
Yes, yes.
OPJ save, OPJ open page new,
Yes.
OPJ validate, copy, branch call methods.
Correct. So activities are nothing but this is the logical implementation in Pega. So if you want to achieve certain things in step-by-step manner, so suppose this is my first step, now I can add second step, third step, fourth step. Likewise, if I want to execute certain logic, you can mute
I'm
yourself.
not able to. I am not able to see your screen.
Okay.
Again,
So
try.
what about Omkar and Purnima? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay,
What
wait.
about Sandeep? Might be your internet issue. Okay. So if you in Pega, if you want to do certain things in step-by-step execution, so that time we're going to use activity. So activity is nothing but step-by-step execution of methods. So here I'm just writing down. So methods, or we can say some logic. Now activities contain different methods. With the help of that methods, we are going to create or we are going to build our logic. Okay. So now don't worry about the activities, how to create an activity, where to go and create an activity. That part we're going to cover later on. But as of now, just remember, if you want to write some logic, that can be done with the help of activity. So activity is nothing but step-by-step execution. Sandeep, I'm making you organizer. You can start your record. Hold on. Sandeep, I can see
Yeah,
two names here.
enable.
You can just disconnect one which is not required. Okay.
I already disconnected, Amit. Hello?
Yeah, now you are organizer. You can start the recording. So we were discussing about activity. So activity is nothing but step-by-step execution of some methods. In Pega, in hello Sandeep. Okay.
Amit, yes.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. So in Pega, if you want to build some logic, And if you want that logic to be executed step-by-step manner, so first step, second step, then I should go into third step, then fourth step has to be executed, then in that case we're going to use activity. Now activity has different methods. So first we're going to see property method. So here we have different type of property methods. Click on property. Now these are my property methods. Property map decision table, property map decision tree, map values, map value pair, remove, seek value, set, blah blah blah. There are many methods, but out of which we are going to use a few methods only that are frequently used. Okay. So now what do you mean by property map decision table, property map decision tree, map value and map value pair? That we're going to see tomorrow, because we are going to create a decision table, decision tree and map value. So once that decision table, decision trees we are going to create, how that decision rules we are going to execute from activity, that we are going to see tomorrow, and that decision rule we are going to evaluate or execute from activity with the help of these methods. Okay, I have given you one document there. For most of the methods I have given some explanation what is the use of that particular methods. Okay, tomorrow we are going to see these 4 methods. That time I'll explain you what is use of these methods. Just remember, these 4 methods are used to call decision rules, maybe decision table, decision tree, value and value pair. Okay, now next is property remove. I'm just going to take the one which frequently used. Okay, what is use of property remove method? If you want to remove a particular property, so this is my condition here. I should give the name of property like first name or some name. That property, if you want to remove from a clipboard, from a memory, then you should use property remove method. Okay. Now next method is property seek value. Again, this is not useful. Property set is very useful. Suppose in case if you want to set a value to a particular property, that time we are going to use property set method. Okay, same we are doing in data transform. Data transform we are using set action, right? What is the use of set action in data transform? To set a value to a particular property. Same here, if you want to set a value to any property, that can be done in activity with the help of set property action, also set property method. Hey, are you getting me? What are you understand what I'm trying to tell you people? Hello? Omkar? No,
Unmuted.
you understand this, but I'm talking about Omkar and Purni.
So you are explaining the different property methods, right? And
Correct.
by that name itself
Not,
suggest what it is.
these are not different property, these are the different methods, yes, from activity. Okay. So as and when we will use, again that time I'll gonna explain that once again. But just you should remember these are the property methods. So again, next one is set message. If you want to set a message to a particular property, that can be done with the help of property set message. Then property validate. Property validate is used to validate a particular property. Unlike client-side validation, server-side validation, this is again we are going to see property validate. This is yet another method. Now next methods are Obj methods. Now we have a different Obj methods and their uses. Like Obj browse. From internal database, if I want to select multiple rows, if I have one table into my internal database, and if I want to get a multiple records from an internal database, that can be done with the help of Obj browse. Okay. Next one is Obj delete. So Obj delete, of course, name itself suggests if you want to delete a particular record, that can be done. If you know the key of that particular record, just you need to pass it, that key, and obj handle will take care of deleting that record with the help of key. Next is filter. Filter is of course used to filter a record. If you have a list of records, and if you want to filter those records, that can be done with the help of filter. Now obj open. If you want to open any class instance, like we have a class loan class, right? And from that loan class, if you want to open a particular record or object, that can be done with the help of obj open. Next one is again with the help of primary key, that is pjins key, obj refresh and lock. This is to acquire a lock. Again here, obj save. Obj save method is used to save. See, the name suggests it is saving something. If you have a certain actions, if you have certain data that you want to save into database, that can be done with the help of obj save. So obj save is used to save a data in a database. And obj save cancel, it will revert or it will roll back the recent uncommitted changes from a database. If suppose I have performed a save operation and that is not committed to the database, that can be rolled back or that can be reverted back with the help of obj save cancel method. Again, obj sort, of course it is used to sorting purpose, sort a particular record, list of records. Obj validate, again this is used to validate server side validation. These are the obj methods, object methods. Then we have a page method. So at runtime, if you want to change a class, that can be done with the help of page change class method. Obj clear message, of course, to what are the message, error messages are there. If you want to clear those error messages from a page, that can be done with the help of page clear messages. Page copy, name suggests that it is getting copied, like from source to target, from which page to which page, that we have to specify. Then we have this is again very commonly or very frequently we are going to use page new method. This method creates a new page in your clipboard. Okay, new instance, new page in your clipboard. That is again we are going to see in our upcoming sessions. So page set, this is again we are going to see. So I'll not explain you right now because it's of no use. I'm just trying to make you aware about the activities and their different methods. So we are going to work on activity full-fledged. We are going to build a good amount of logic in using activity. That time again we are going to see these methods. Obj set, page set message. This is again we are going to see. This is used to set a message on particular page. Then page validate, already I told you, like property validate, this is also page validate. It validates all the properties which is there on that particular page. So this was about page properties, page methods. Now we are going to see Rdb methods. So basically Rdb stands for your relational database. So whenever you are using external database like Oracle, and if you want to deal with that external database, that can be done with the help of Rdb methods. So Rdb methods are useful to communicate with the external database. So first one is Rdb delete. So if you want to delete a particular record from an external database like Oracle, that can be done with the help of Rdb delete. Next one is Rdb list. Suppose if you want to fetch multiple records from external database, that can be done with the help of Rdb list.
Amit,
Yeah.
Amit, sorry to interrupt. Can you please make me organizer?
Okay. Yeah, Jyoti, you are organizer now. You can start recording.
Amit, just one question. What's the actual use of these methods? Means when we are mapping to the
That is what
particular
I am.
schools, what's the actual use?
So that is what I am saying. No, see RDB delete was it use of RDB delete from external database. If you want to delete something, that time I'll use this RDB method, RDB delete method from external database.
Okay.
If I want to fetch multiple records like OBJ browse from internal database, RDB list from external database.
Okay. So to perform some particular actions, we use these methods, right?
Yes, yes. So till now what I have explained, these are the purposes of these methods which we have seen.
Okay.
So you will come to know that. Once we start with the implementation, that time you will come to know. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So RDB open, again if you want to open a particular single record from an external database, if you want to select a single record from external database, that time I am going to use RDB open. RDB save, the name itself suggests if you want to save something, some records in an external database, that time I am going to use RDB save. So basically RDBs are whatever the method which is there in RDB, like RDB delete, list, open and save, those are all useful in external databases. So this was about different methods in activity. Now what is loop and all that? What is when condition? When condition is already we have seen. So when condition here is nothing but if I have a certain method here, say RDB delete, before executing this method, any method, if you want to have some precondition, if that condition has to be satisfied, then only I can execute this method. That condition I am going to write into when condition here. So I'll write when rule sum here is something something, some value, some when rule. If this is true, then continue. If false, then exit iteration. So something like this, we are going to use this when condition or when rule here as well in activity. So as and when we come across the scenario, that time I am going to explain you how to use loop, how to use when, and what are the different methods that we are going to use. This was about activity. So any doubt here? I know like little bit confusing here because we are seeing this completely theoretically, no practicals as of now. But still, have you understood the purpose of activity? What are the different methods at least?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Sandeep?
Yes.
Yeah. So this was about activity. And don't worry how to create activity, where to create activity, what navigation we should follow to create an activity. That definitely we are going to see. Okay, so don't worry about that. So this was little bit about activity. Now next part is decision rule. So let me show you the decision rule here. Say for example, let me open our case type, by default. And from there I'll open any flow. Okay, we'll say approval decision. Now see, the name itself suggests decision rule. It means it is something related to decision, correct? So if I drag and drop here, decision shape, double click on this, so this is my decision rule, decision table, decision tree, fork and map values. Okay, these are my decision rules. Now out of this we are going to see decision table, decision tree, fork and map values. Now let's do one by one. So decision table. First one is a decision table. So Sandeep, can you just tell me what do you mean by decision table here?
Sorry, Amit, I have not mapped it.
Sorry?
Hello?
Yeah, tell me.
Decision table, we can test or evaluate single condition using
Yes.
if, then else, logic condition. If there are multiple conditions, if first condition is true, it returns the result and it will not check other conditions.
The other conditions, right. So, look at what we are going to do in our project. In our project, we are going to create some decision tables. Like from a first screen, we are going to select residence types, right? So residence types, if I select some values like owned by self, spouse, owned by parents, siblings, rented by family, paying guest. So in that case, I'm going to write one decision table. Okay. In that decision table, I'll add those properties and I'll add respective return values. So let me show you the decision table first, then you'll understand. So cancel this. And here I'm going to create one decision table. So right click to your loan class, create, go to your decision and say decision table. So give some name. So look at here, structure, decision table structure. Now decision table, as Sandeep has told, decision table checks one value at a time. If he finds that value true, then it will return a value. It will not check another condition. So decision tables are useful for checking one or two conditions only. So here I am saying so as I said, this is used to check one or two conditions. Now what do you mean by condition here? Look at it. If I click on this, so this is nothing but my property. So here I am giving some property like give any property. So co-applicant name. So if co-applicant name is Amit, return 10. If co-applicant name is some, we can say Sandeep, return 20. If co-applicant name is Omkar, return 30. So this is my decision table. Now suppose in my application, in my case designing, or in my case, if I enter name as a Sandeep, and if I execute the decision table from my activity, how actually decision table will execute. First, it will come here, first row. It will check whether the co-applicant name property contains Amit. No. Then it will go and check next condition. If co-applicant name is contains Sandeep, yes, co-applicant name contains Sandeep. So it will return 20. It won't check the rest of the condition like Omkar, Jyoti, Purnima, whatever. So as I said, it is used to check only one or two conditions. If it found true, then if it is found true part, it will return that values and won't check remaining condition. Like as I said in second part, if co-applicant's property contains Sandeep, it will return a true. I mean, this decision table will return a true. It will not check the remaining condition. That is Omkar. Omkar's value it won't check. In that case, it will skip this and it will return only 20 from here. So as I said, decision table, whenever there is, if you want to compare values, or if you want to compare one or two conditions, then we can use decision tables. And in case of decision tables, if it's found true condition, it will return from that true condition, and rest of the condition it won't check. So this was about the decision table. Any doubt here about decision table? So in our case, what we are going to do, we are going to create this many decision tables. Some of them may be decision tree or decision tables. So if I select parents and siblings from my UI, so I'm going to get 8 as a return value. So what I'm going to do with that 8 return values and all that we'll see later on. So have you understood the concept of decision table? Now see, the structure itself says it's a table, tabular format, right? This is rows and columns, condition and their respective values. It returns some values. And it has a structure like if this, else if this, else if this, otherwise this. If this is true, it will return true. If this is true, it will return this value and it won't check remaining values. Any doubt here about decision table?
Amit, if suppose there is any false value, then in that case also it will check only 2 records.
Could you please come again?
Yeah. If there is a, suppose you are saying that it will return a true value for the first 2 records, then it will not go for the third value, like third record. So if in case of a, 2 records is returning the false value, that in that case also it is not going to the third record.
No, still I am not getting you. When I said that first 2 values it will return true, I never said like this.
No, what you are saying that only it will check for the 2 records. It will not go for the third record.
No, see, that is not the case. I never said like 2 record or 4 record or 3 record. Say suppose I have something like Jyoti, I have so 40 and 50, okay? Now assume in my co-applicant section, that is on my first section, collect basic details. Under co-applicant section, I have entered name as Jyoti, or say suppose I have entered name as Omkar, okay? Now what it will check, if I have created a decision table, first my execution point will come here. First it will check whether co-applicant name contains as Amit, no. Then it will go to next step. Then it will check whether co-applicant name, this property contains Sandeep, no. Then it will go to next step. Then it will check whether co-applicant name is contained Omkar. There it finds that co-applicant name is contained as Omkar. Then it will return 30, and next time it won't go to check whether Jyoti or Purnima is available or not. So these 2 conditions it will not going to check. So wherever it finds a true condition, from there itself the decision table will going to return a value, and rest of the condition it will not going to check.
Okay, I got it.
Unmuted.
Amit, does it happen that this table will not get true value?
Yeah, good.
So what we discussed, if it gets the true value, then it will not execute the remaining conditions. So
Correct.
in actual or in the real scenarios or in the coding also, is it happens this table won't get the true value?
Yes, in that case we will going to return some otherwise condition. Look at here, otherwise is always there, and that default value we are going to return 0
Okay.
or some value as per your requirement, some value, which will denote that none of the condition is true. So that's the reason I am getting default value.
Okay.
Compound. So this is very important. Decision table, decision tree, map values, very important topic. Omkar, please ask if you have any doubts. Sandeep?
No.
No.
Okay. Now you can call a decision table from another decision table. So here, if there is a requirement that if you want to call one decision table, I'm saying decision table, another decision table. So you can call one decision table from another decision table. Like instead of saying return here, I'm saying call and name of decision table. So this is the syntax. You should say call. Call is a syntax to call a particular decision table, and you should give the name of that particular decision table. So this is the syntax to call a decision table from another decision table. So this was about decision table. Should I close this? So decision table are used whenever there is a simple logic, straightforward. If you want to compare only one or two conditions, and in that case we are going to use decision table. So there is a always interview question where when in which scenario you are going to use decision table, in which scenario you are going to use decision tree, and in which scenario you are going to use map values. So keep this thing in mind whenever I have tabular format structure, and whenever there are simple logic, simple conditions, that time I am going to use decision tables. Whenever I want other condition not to check, once I get a proper true value, that time I am going to use decision tables. And one decision table I can call from another decision. So this was about decision table. So next is decision tree. So right click, decision, and I'm saying decision tree. Now you can see the difference between decision table and decision tree. If co-applicant name equals to Amit, then a return or continue or otherwise. Then what? Means if co-applicant name equal to Amit, what do you want? You want to return or otherwise? Means if you want to return something, I'm saying 10. Next part is the co-applicant name equals to Sandeep, then return 20. So co-applicant name is I'm just taking one random condition here. Don't bother about the name and the property name. Just think about the logic. So otherwise, return 0. So now what the difference between your decision table and decision tree? So in case of decision tree, if you want to have a nested conditions, like suppose here what I want to call a decision table from a decision tree that can be done. So I'm saying co-applicant name equal to say Jyoti. I want to call now. How should I call that? I'll tell you later on. But as of now, just remember. Okay. So here, each and every condition are going to evaluate. So let me summarize this. So decision tree is or we can say if you want to have a complex logic, then we can use decision tree. So again here all the condition are going to evaluate. Means what happened in decision table, if it's found true, it will return a true part and it will not check remaining condition. But where in case of decision tree, all the conditions are evaluated. Executed, and as per that we are going to get a return value. Anyways, because any one of the condition are going to true, right? Now, not all the conditions are going to true. Only one condition is going to true. But in case of decision tree, it checks all the conditions. Like Sandeep, first suppose my property contain Sandeep. Now my execution will come that co-applicant name property contains Amit. No, it's false. Co-applicant name contains Sandeep. Yes, true. It will return 20 from here. And again, it will going to check whether co-applicant names contain Sandeep here as well and Sandeep here as well. Definitely it will not going to return these two because already we have returned true. But in case of decision tree, it will going to check all the conditions. So whenever we have a if kind of a structure, go for decision table. Whenever we have a if condition kind of a structure, go for decision tree. Again, there is certain criteria. If interviewer asks you when should I go decision table and when should I go for decision tree, the simple answer is if I want to build a complex logic, nested conditions, and if I want to check multiple conditions, then I will go with decision tree. Now you understood what you mean by decision tree. So tree, look at the name, table and tree. Tree has various branches, right? So here also we have various branches, nested branches or nested conditions. Any doubt here about decision tree?
I'm having confusion in decision tree. Means, here in decision tree, each and every condition is going to execute whether it's a true or false.
Correct.
Suppose the co-applicant name is Amit, it's returning true. Suppose it's not Amit, if checking for the Amit, if it's false, then it will go for the next one, Sandeep.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Okay, if Sandeep it's also false, then it will go for the Omkar. It will check for the Omkar whether it's there or not. If it's a true, then it will go for the Jyoti. If it's checking, it will check for the applicant name as the Jyoti. So all conditions are going to execute in whether it's a true or false.
Yes, doesn't matter. Whenever it finds true, that value is going to return, but it will going to execute all the conditions. Yeah, if conditions.
Okay.
Amit, so as Jyoti has given the example and we can see on the screen, so if it's true, then if Amit is true, then it will return the value 10. Okay, and still it goes to the next if condition, right?
Right.
Sorry?
Yes,
Okay.
that is what I said. It will check all the conditions. Not like your decision table where whenever it finds true, it will return that true value and it won't check other remaining condition. That will not be the case with decision tree. In decision tree, everything will going to execute, whether it's a true or false doesn't make difference. But it will execute all the conditions.
Okay. So it will not require any trigger point of true or false.
No, no, no.
Okay.
Omkar, Sandeep,
Okay, mate.
any doubt?
No.
Sandeep?
No, Amit, no.
Okay, Omkar? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, Omkar, do you have any doubt?
Hello.
Yeah, Omkar, go ahead, I'm listening.
No, Amit, I got it.
Okay. So next one is map value. In map value, we are going to configure. So basically, when should I use map value? So we have seen when should I use decision table, when should I use decision tree. Now, in case of map value, when should I use map values? When we have a scenario, what we can say, not compare ratio, not ratio, what we call it as
Range.
range, correct, range. When we have a scenario that we need to compare a range, that time we are going to use map values. So what do you mean by range? So if I'm saying, look at here, I'll give you an example. Now look at it. If I'm saying my salary is in between 25,000 to 50,000, so mentioning this 25 and 50 is nothing but my range. So whenever I have such a scenario where I need to compare ranges or range, that time I will use map value. So here we are going to configure rows and columns. Now how to configure rows and how to configure column, that we are going to see. But as of now, just keep this thing in mind. If you want map values are used whenever you want to compare a range, and in case of map values, we are going to configure rows and columns. Again, we are going to see this topic again whenever we are going to create a map values, maybe Monday or Tuesday. So clear about this map values, decision trees and decision table. So let's do one thing. Let's do it practically. Now in our project, what is my requirement is, so let me run this. So, okay, what I'll do, I'll open an existing project, then it will be clear for you what we are trying to implement. You should clear with the requirement. So if I click on create, let me create a new case. Now, as I said, select residence type as per your requirement. I am selecting owned by self and spouse. Loan type is personal loan. Submit. Then employment type is salaried. Salaried IT I'm saying, give some salary. Submit. If suppose I have some other liabilities, that is ongoing personal loans, 5 lakhs rupees, and currently I am paying 15,000 EMI, and remaining months are 10. Submit. Look at it. I am getting some score. Okay. So based on this score, I am getting how much loan amount I am eligible for. How much rate of interest? 10. Against this 5,000, 5 lakhs 40,000, or what is it, 54 lakhs. Yeah, against this 54 lakhs, how much EMI that I am going to pay, that all things we need to calculate. But basically first target is, let's calculate this score. Do you know about CIBIL score? What is that CIBIL?
Unmuted.
Onima?
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, what is that CIBIL score?
So,
Can you just explain?
yeah, so whatever the loans we have taken, that will be considered, say home loan, personal loan, vehicle loan, and based on that your next eligibility will be decided, and for that CIBIL score will be generated.
Correct. But what is the importance of CIBIL score?
How much you are capable financially.
Yes, say suppose I want to apply for a home loan, correct? I have purchased one property, or I am planning to purchase a property. For that I am going to apply a loan for the home loan. The banker, what they will going to do, they will collect all your information. So do you have your own home, own house? If yes, give the documents. Then are you a salaried person or you're a business? What I'm saying, I'm a salaried person, then give your pay slip. If your wife is working, your spouse is working, yes, give your pay slip as well. Then many documents, they'll take many documents, they will refer those documents, they have some criteria or they have some decision logic. Based on that, they will going to calculate this score. So again, they are going to consider if you have your ongoing EMIs, like it might be the case that I have taken some personal loan. So again, that EMIs are getting deducted from my account. That also they are going to consider while this calculating this CIBIL score, right? So all these factors they will going to consider, and based on that factor, the system will generate this CIBIL score, and based on this CIBIL score, how much loan you are going to get, that amount is getting decided. So generally we are saying that my salary is so much, but still I am getting very less amount of loan. The reason behind this is your CIBIL score is very less. The more CIBIL score you get, more loan amount will be getting. The less CIBIL score you are getting, less amount of loan you are getting. Now clear the concept of CIBIL score? Sandeep?
Sumit, yes, credit history.
Sorry?
It's nothing but credit history.
Yeah, credit history. That we
Yes,
can say other liabilities as well.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes. What about Jyoti?
Yes, I mean, got it.
Yeah, because those who have already taken home loan, they are aware about this score. So basically, we are going to generate or we are going to create this CIBIL score from our application. Now, how we are going to do that? Look at here. We have various deciding factors, decision factors. Like suppose if I have my own home, if from a residence type, if I am selecting my residence type is my self-occupied home. So in that case, I'll return 10. Okay, my decision table will going to return 10. Now next is yeah, employment in industry type. Employment. Yeah. Then next is employment type. If I am saying I am salaried person, what I am going to do? This is my decision tree. So what we have discussed, decision tree is used to use when we have a nested condition or branch condition or complex logic. So here what I am going to do, I am going to create one decision tree. From that decision tree, I am going to call a decision table. So if I am selecting salaried as a value from a drop down, what it will going to call? It will going to call industry type decision table. So industry type decision table, from industry type, if I'm returning IT, if I'm selecting as IT, I'm an IT guy, it will return me 12. Okay. So next is, if my salary is in between 50,000 to 1 lakh range, so this decision table will give me 8 score, 8 as a return value. Okay. Now next is, do we have anything? Okay. So now my total score becomes 30. Okay. This is my total score, CIBIL score. But but there are some ongoing EMIs, other liabilities. If my ongoing EMIs are lies between 5,000 to 15,000, so this is my deduction, right? These are my already going EMIs, other liabilities section. In other liabilities, what we are going to do? We are going to give a values which I am paying currently. Apart from the loan which I am going to get, apart from that, this is the EMI which I am going to pay. Now that EMI, say for example 10,000 rupees, I am paying some extra EMIs for other loans. So this 10,000 lies in between this range, 5,000 to 15,000. So in that case, my decision table will going to return me 4. Now my total score is 30. From that total score, I am going to deduct 4. So my total CIBIL score will become 26. So this is how we are going to calculate this CIBIL score. Understood? Or confusion? If you have confusion, please let me know.
No confusion for my end. I'm okay.
Straightforward, right? Sandeep, Jyoti, Omkar.
Sumit, no confusion.
I mean, got it.
Sorry?
This is understood, no confusion.
Yes. Okay. And
Understood.
Omkar? Omkar? Yes, Omkar. Hello. Hello. Omkar went offline. Might be some issue. Okay. So let's do one thing. First, let's try to build this logic with the help of decision table. Now I hope the concept of decision table is somewhat clear. If not, that will going to clear once we start building the application. So let's create decision tables one by one. First decision table we are going to create for residence types. Okay. So how to create a decision table? As I said, go to your case type. Let me close this. So decision rule is all about making a decisions. So right click your case type, create decision in decision table. So give its name residence type decision table. I'm just giving this lengthy name because it's a descriptive, and I'll come to know what is the use of this table, what exactly this is useful. Okay, so that's the reason I'm using this lengthy name. So click and open, sorry, create and open. Now if you want to add a multiple condition, how I will add? Click here. Now look at here, add rows and add columns. So I'm going to add rows. Yeah. So my decision, my condition is based on my residence type, correct? So look at it. This is my property, residence. So residence become my conditions. Now how to add a condition? Click here. One pop-up will get open. And here I'll select that property against which I'm going to compare that values. So residence types is my property name. Just click on save. Okay. Now we have to enter values here. Now whatever values I am going to enter, these values should be same as the value which we are displaying here. Okay, this should be same. There should not be any kind of what we can say spelling mistakes or spacing and all that. It has to be same only, that values. So let's have those values one by one. So self and spouse. So in that case, 10, I will return 10. Next is owned by parents and siblings. 8, rented in family. 7, then we have rented with friends, and its value is 6. And next is staying alone, value is 5. Paying guest, 4. Hostel, 3. And company provided. And if none of the conditions are matching, we are going to return 0. Save this. Okay. Now, if you want to check whether your table is in consistent state or not, means your table is giving some error or not, how you can do that? Just click on show conflict. Now it is saying this table is consistent, means no issues. Now, the best practice while designing a decision table or decision tree or map values, you should run this standalone before going to implement, before going to use this this decision table or tree or map values somewhere in activity or in other places. You should have a practice. You should make a practice that make a habit of this, that you should do unit testing whether my decision table is returning a proper values or not. So for that, how should we do this? Go to action and click on run. So you will come to know whether your decision table is returning a proper values or not. So I am saying this one, parents and sibling, it should return me 8. Okay, just click, enter that value here and run again. So look at here, it is returning 8. If I am saying hostel, in that case it is returning 3. Let me check. Hostel, it is returning 3. So randomly you can take any values and you can test whether our decision table is returning proper values or not. So enter with family and family, it gives 7. Enter with family, it is giving 7. So likewise you can test this for a couple of values. It should return 10. So decision table is returning a proper values. So now you understood how to create a decision table. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now let's create another decision table. We're going to create a decision table for industry type. Okay, so let's do that. How should we create? Go to action. Either you can create it from here or same way, the way which we have created previously. Right click, create decision and decision table. This way also you can create, or other way is, shortcut way is, go to action and create. Any one way we can follow. So here I am saying this industry type decision table. So let me create that decision table here. So what should be my condition here? Let me add columns here, rows here. So my condition is industry type, correct? On industry type property, I am going to create this decision table. Industry type, click on save. Now what are my options? Banking. If I am a bank employee, I should return 14. If I belongs to some education sector, some value like 10. If I belongs to IT, 12. If I belongs to government, it's 18. Hospital, doctor field, then it should return 16. Otherwise 0. Save this and check for consistency if there are any conflicts or not. Consistent decision table is in consistent state. Now let's do the unit testing. So if I run this and I'll test for IT. So if I enter here IT, run, it should give 12. Correct? Education, it should give some 14, I guess 10. Okay, let me check. Education, yes. Banking, 14. mentioning 14. So my decision table is proper. Save this. So let's create another decision table for salary. So let's create a for salary. So go here, action, and say create salary decision table. Salary decision table. Okay, let's create an open. Now let me add a couple of rows here. So see, now what should be my column, what should be my condition here? Condition type is salary, correct? How to add? Just click here and say dot monthly salary. Monthly salary. Now look at here. Here we have a range, right? 0 to 1000, 10,000 to 25,000, 25 to 50,000. So this is the range. So I'm going to use here, use range. Just click on this button and say save, nothing else. So if my salary is from 0 to 10,000, if my salary is from 0 to 10,000, it should return 2. Okay. Now if my salary is from 10,001 to 25,000, it should return 4. Again, if my salaries lies in between 25,001 to 50,000, it should return 6. Next is, if my salary is from 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees, it should return 8. So 1 lakh rupees, it should return 8. And if it is greater than 1 lakh rupees, then it should return 10. None of the conditions are satisfied, then return 0. Save this and check for conflict and do the unit testing. This is the method, or this is the way you should follow. Decision table is in consistent state. So click on OK. Run again. So let's have a unit testing of this. So monthly salary is my, say, 30,000. So 30,000 lies in between this range, 25,000 to 50,000. So it should return 6. So if I am saying 30,000, it should return me 6. Yes, it is returning 6. Now my monthly salary is 1,25,000. So in that case, it should return 10 because it is more than 1 lakh rupees here, this condition. So I'm saying my salary is 1,30,000 rupees. This is my salary. So yes, 1,30,000, it is returning true. If I'm giving boundary condition, that is 1 lakh rupees, so it should return me 8. Yes, this is the proper testing which you need to do, considering all the boundary condition plus minus everything. So this way we have created yet another decision table. So as of now we have created 3 decision tables, like residence type, industry type, and one is for salary. Now,
Amit, I have one doubt here.
yeah, go ahead.
So as we learned, when there is a range, we should use map value.
No, that map value, where to use that I'll show you, not here.
Okay.
There is some different scenario to use those map values. What I said, map values are used whenever we want to configure rows and columns. Here we have configured only one condition and there is no differentiation between rows and columns. So we cannot use map for rows. I'll tell you where to use map for rows.
Okay.
Hospital. Total experience. Okay. Now, do we have something for total experience? Yeah, we have a total experience here. How about this? 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So let's create a decision table for total experience as well. So how to create? Go to your same decision table. From here, and say create. So it is decision table. Now let me add rows here. Okay. Now condition, the name of property that we should choose here. So I'm saying total years of experience. Total years of experience will be my condition. Now look at here carefully. You can find the difference between the decision tables which we have created as of now, 3 decisions table, and these decision tables while giving the conditions. If I click here, press on down arrow, you are getting these values. But if you see here, like industry type or residence type, if I click on a down arrow, I'm clicking on down arrow, you are not getting anything, any intelligence you are not getting. Banking, education, IT, government, hospital, that I typed or copied paste manually. But whereas in case of salary, in case of total experience, you are getting these values as an intelligence. Why? What is the reason? Can
You
anyone
have
please tell?
mentioned it. Local list.
Yes. We have find this drop down, total experience drop down with the help of local list. Whereas rest of the drop downs like residence type, industry type, all drop downs are binded with the help of this, what we can say, data pages. Correct? So that's the reason I am not getting that values. I need to mention those values manually. But whereas in case of my total experience, I have mentioned that in the prompt list, local list. Whether you have mentioned it in the prompt list or local list, automatically we are getting those values in our decision table or decision trees. Understood why we are getting these values here and why not we are getting those values into other decision tables? That's the reason. Okay, so let's select 0 to 1. If experience lies between 0 to 1, I am going to return 12. This 12. And 14, I guess. 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, let's do it. And next is 2 to 5, 16, 18, and more than 5 years, more than 10 years, 20, and I don't want this row. Delete row. I'll remove this 20 and default if nothing else. Okay, 0. Save this. Let's check for consistency. Consistent. Let's do the unit testing. Run. Now, if I select experience level between 5 to 10 years, I should get 18 as a return value. Here also, click on down arrow, you get the intelligence. Click on run, you should get 18. Yes. Now our decision table is in consistent state. So this way we have created 4 decision tables. Any doubt here? Hello.
Not from my end, Amit.
No, miss,
No,
no
miss.
doubt.
Okay. So let's create a. So here we have done with residence type, total expense, salary, industry type, and what else we have? Monthly amount. That we're going to do it later on. Let's do it for monthly MI as well. Okay, we'll do it later on, not as of now. We'll do it later on, monthly MI. Now let's concentrate on this employment type. So here, instead of decision table, I'm going to create a decision tree. The reason behind this is I want to build a complex structure and I want to build a nested conditions. Why nested? Now look at here. If I selected salary, I should call industry type decision table, this one. Why? The reason behind this is because, look at here, let me run the case. Now, why I'm saying like this, if I select employment type as a salaried, I should call a decision table called as industry type. The reason behind this is, now look at it, employment type is salaried, right? So salaried, what we have, industry type, correct? So industry type decision table I should call. Now if I say salaried doctor, so total expense decision table I am going to call. If I am saying salaried doctor, so this field is getting visible, right? Date of joining, on date of joining we haven't created any decision table. But on total years of experience we have created a decision tables. So this decision tables is we should call once we select salaried doctor. And for rest of the conditions like student, retired, homemaker, these are the default, these are the values we should get returned. So have you understood why we are calling this salaried and salaried doctor, these decision tables from this decision tree? Hello?
Sure.
Okay. So let's create a decision tree here, employment type. How to create a decision tree? Go to your loan type, create decision universal decision tree. So gives name was employment type decision tree. Create an account. Now click here. So what we want? I want if employment type is salaried, I should call this industry type decision table. Okay. So employment type dot employment type equals to salary. Then see, we are not getting option here to call a decision table from decision tree. This is decision tree, and from this decision tree I want to call a decision table, right? So how should we do this? Go to configuration, and here look at here, allow selection of call decision option. This we need to check so as to call a decision table from a decision tree. This is the option you need to tick. Now go back. Employment type equal to salaried, then return. Look at here. We got what do you want to call? Whether you want to call a decision tree, map value, or decision table. I am saying I want to call a decision table. Now mention the name of that decision table which you want to call. Just click on down arrow. I want to call industry type decision table. Just click here and let's add one more condition. So again I am saying here dot employment type equals to, what is that? Salary doctor. So keep this thing in mind. We should enter a proper value. So I think we have created this with the help of field values, right? So let me check the field values here. Data model, field values for salary doctor, what we have said, home method, salary doctor. Yeah, this is the value which you have to copy paste over there. So this is, if employment type is salary doctor, what you want to call total experience decision table. This one, this we have created decision table. How should we call? Just say call decision table and mention the name of table. Just click on down arrow, total experience decision table. That's it. Add one more condition. Click on this arrow and I'm saying dot employment type is equals to student or 4 number or return 4 and return 4. Next condition, if employment type is retired, type equals to retired and return 6. If it is homemaker, then return 2. And one more condition here, that employment type equals to homemaker Now let me copy that homemaker. Student salary repair homemaker. So this is the value. Copy this. Paste it here. Then return 2. So done. Now save this. How? What happened? It's to student. Equals to student. That's correct. Okay. Let me see the concepts.
Two dots.
Sorry.
In employment type, there two dots are there.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. By mistakenly I entered this 2 dots. Yes, right. Thank you so much. Let me save this. Yeah, by mistakenly I typed double dot. Show conflict. This is consistent. Now let me test this. So now let's look at here. So I'm selecting employment type as a homemaker. Let me see the values for homemaker. And again. Yes, it is giving 2. So let me remove this. Save. Yeah, it will not work. Okay. So save. For student, I think it will work. Because we don't need to give student. Let's run this again. Some student, run this. It is giving 4. Yes, it's giving 4. Same for salaried as well. I don't need to scroll in. Same. Now look at here. If I enter salaried, what will happen? I'm again click on run. So industry type, sorry, employment type, I'm entering as salaried. What we have mentioned, if it is salaried, we are going to call industry type decision table, this one. Okay. So now look at carefully how the execution happens. So when I click on run, it is asking me employment type. I am saying salaried. Okay. Run. Look at here. What it has asked me. Enter the industry type. Because here what we have done, in case of salary, we are calling industry types. So that's the reason I have entered employment type as a salary. Now it is asking me what is the industry type for this salary. I am saying IT. So it should return me 12. Yeah. This is how it works. Okay. Now let's do it for salary doctor. Okay. So let's do the testing. So run. Salary doctor. Total years of experience. So let me reset the page. Before that, let me copy this. Let me reset this so that IT and all that will come. Salary doctor. Run again. Now total years of experience. I'm selecting between 2 to 5. So if it is 2 to 5, total years of experience 2 to 5, I should get 16. Yes, we are getting 16 as a written value. So this way we have created decision table, decision trees. Now tomorrow or in next session, we are going to call all these decision tables and decision trees in an activity. So let me know if you have any doubts in case of decision tables and decision trees.
Amit, in this tree, why we don't mark student in double quote?
Yeah, because student is a single string, right? So look at here, salary doctor, we have a space here, right? Even in case of retired, yeah, in case of retired, you don't need to enter like this. Yes.
Okay, so there are multiple string where in that case only we have to mark it in double quote for
Yes,
single
yes,
string.
yes.
No
You
need.
don't need to. So retired we have removed. So let's check retired as well. So let me reset a page. I'm saying retired. It is returning 6. So retired, we are returning 6. So this one. So any doubt here in case of decision tables and trees?
No, nothing from my end.
Okay.
No, Amit.
No, Amit, not from my end.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So let's wind up here. Let's stop here. Then tomorrow, next session, we are going to call all these decision tables and decision trees